Hi everybody, I'm Bree the Plant Lady, and today I am at the J.C. Ralston Arboretum in downtown Raleigh, North Carolina. I was just giving a presentation to the Raleigh Garden Club, some of my favorite gardeners, and I was right across the street, so I figured I should take a few minutes to stroll around the gardens here and see what is going on in the beginning of March here in Zone 7. So let's take a stroll. Well, the first thing I see is this gorgeous cornus in bloom. This is, I believe, cornus moss, but the great thing about being at the Arboretum is that everything is labeled. So I'm gonna get a confirmation on that. You can see the sweet little yellow flowers just emerging. Nope, this is Cornus officinalis, sorry. Cornus officinalis. And another attribute of this is its great exfoliating bark. You see it's got really interesting bark, but now it has these beautiful yellow flowers. And I couldn't help myself but to come over and see this prunus in full flower. This is Prunus Jacquemontii, the Afghan bush cherry. And these flowers are so beautiful. Branches are just completely loaded with flowers. I'm surprised I don't see more pollinator activity of them. Now I'm looking, I do see some big bees over here gathering nectar. I'd say it's fair that this is going to end up being a Ralston garden tour featuring all of the flowers of early March.
Hello, how's everybody doing?
Wait, say that one more time.
Hello, how's everybody doing? It's wonderfully beautiful magnolias are in blossom throughout the whole arboretum here.
Oh, I'm so excited. Well, thanks, Tim.
Yep.
I won't compromise his whole day, but it's my buddy Tim, and I'm super happy to see him. Okay, I'm gonna keep strolling around. I'm on the search for all the flowers.
Yes.
So.
Straight ahead, galaxy.
Oh my
Spectrum
God, I
over
see
there.
it.
Yeah, there's a little bit of spectrum over there, and then over here there's all kinds of magnolias.
And the Cornus officinalis is in
Yes,
bloom.
they've been flowering. The officinalis and moss are both flowering.
Okay, it's like an Easter egg hunt today.
Yeah.
All right,
Enjoy.
thanks, Tim. So walking down the big perennial border, Tim was right. There are magnolias blooming everywhere. I can't wait. You can't really see them that well, but we're gonna get up close and personal. Oh, look at over there. Look at this. And the great thing is we have a frost-free forecast. So these flowers should, in theory, continue to look good. What often happens in North Carolina is we get these mild days and then we get cold, and the poor deciduous magnolias basically turn into like dirty tissues. Now, I don't know what cultivar this is. What do we have here? This is Magnolia lobneri Merrill. And it is a spectacular plant. You see it's quite large and it's absolutely covered in beautiful flowers. There is so much happening here. One of my favorite plants, Coralopsis, is starting to show some color in its flowers. This is Coralopsis glabrescens variety Gotoana. And I actually have a blog on my website, breegrows.com, talking all about Coralopsis. This is one of my favorites. I love the soft yellow flowers, and I bet in a week's time this will be completely covered in blooms. And here again we've got another cornus in full flower. Remember, cornus is dogwood, and no, this is different species than the Cornus cusa or the native Cornus florida that bloom with white or pink flowers. I really love both Cornus moss and Cornus officinalis. I apparently can't figure the difference between the two. This is another Cornus officinalis. This is a cultivar called Spring Glow, also known as the Cornelian cherry, which I think is really confusing because it is not prunus, it is cornus. And look at this beautiful prunus. This is a hybrid And I think that it's like a Prunus mume, which is the Japanese apricot, by a plum. This says Prunus valeriana. I have not grown one of these in my own garden. Now I'm suddenly starting to come up with a list of new plants I need to propagate to be able to put in on the new property next door. This is one of my favorite pockets. It's shady area. This is the Asahi aspidistra. Tough as nails, animals don't eat it, really good in dry shade. Lots and lots of hellebores blooming through here. There's again that Asahi aspidistra. It's one of my favorite plants, and I don't have one, so I definitely need to get one. This is one of my favorite pockets of the Arboretum. You've got the Harry Lauder's walking stick, that contortion there, Poncirus trifoliata flying dragon, of course Florida sunshine Elysium, fantastic plant. And then over here, look again at that bright yellow dogwood in full bloom. That's another Cornus officinalis. Of course, in March in North Carolina, we are in the midst of camellia season, and there's a lot of varieties in full bloom, including this awesome hybrid called Golden Spangles. Not only does it have beautiful pink flowers, but it has really dynamic variegated foliage. So it really does provide 4 seasons of interest. It's a really large plant. You can see it's about 15 foot tall and probably 10 or 12 foot wide. Perfect plant to use to screen your neighbors. As I walk out here to kind of the open grassy area, you see a lot of magnolias are in bloom. This is kind of where the Magnolia collection is located, and they are so beautiful. Of course, growing up in Michigan, our magnolias bloomed significantly later, but I had them kind of right outside my bedroom window. So the fragrance of these totally takes me back to my childhood. Here, kind of a traditional tulip magnolia. This is a variety called Forest Pink, Magnolia denudata. The petals look just as pretty on the ground as a mulch as they do hanging on the branches. Pan across here. You can really see the difference in the flowers, the size, the texture, the number of petals. This looks more like a Magnolia stellata. But let's check the plant tag. Yes, Magnolia stellata chrysanthemum flora. And of course, I had to come to the yurt where we did a direct seeding class back in November. And it looks kind of like a mess, but actually it's really great. There's a lot germinating. There's pretty good ground plane coverage. So let me turn the camera around so you can see up close and personal. So this was what we did during the direct seeding class. And you'll see lots of poppies. Lots and lots of poppies germinating. That's what all of this is. And daikon radish. There's a lot of daikon radish. And the barley is clearly getting eaten every day by rabbits. So I'd have low expectations for the barley. But it's good to see the rabbits aren't eating the daikon or the poppies at all. Now, I know we sowed some other things, but I don't see anything else germinating. So, overall, I'll give this like a B. Oh, know what? Here is some lunaria. Here's some lunaria germinating, and I see it throughout as well. So I'm gonna give this a B. I think this bed would really benefit from a thick top dress of soil cube. And perhaps I can convince them to do that this year, and we'll do another direct seeding class. Coming back over into the Magnolia area, I honestly can't remember ever seeing these magnolias look better than they do right in this moment. And that is such a treat. I certainly am not an expert in the cultivars of Magnolia, so I'm really happy that they have labels. So this could be a educational experience for us both. Here is another Magnolia stellata, the star magnolia, and this is a variety called scented silver. And look at how sweet and delicate and small these flowers are. You know, there's so many differences of size, and it just has a wonderful fragrance. Oh, it's so nice. And over here looks more like the kind of traditional tulip magnolia. At least that's what we called these in Michigan. Look at how huge these flowers are. Look at these beautiful, bright fuchsia flower buds. Terrible light, sorry. And this is Magnolia soulangeana picture. And it is a picture of perfection, covered in these beautiful flowers. More over here. This looks like Magnolia lobneri. This is Leonard Messel. Hard to get up onto these flowers because the branches are so tall. And that's the People Mover train. That's our Amtrak that runs between Raleigh and Charlotte and then up the East Coast to DC. I've never been on it. I get terribly motion sick on trains and boats. Here is Magnolia pristine. Let's get into here so you can see those beautiful white flowers. And I have a perfect example at my feet as to why you should not allow your hellebores to set seed. So this is why I pick all my hellebore flowers for floating arrangements. You know, they're super cute. Look at all of this seed. That is what hellebores do year after year if you don't cut the flowers off. This is just a solid ground cover of hellebore seedlings. And I can tell you from home garden management, this is not something that you would necessarily want to have to keep up with. This gorgeous pink is a variety called Verbanica, which I am not familiar with at all, but it's so lovely. Oh, look at this view with these blooms and that Carolina blue sky. Oh, what an extraordinary day. Here we have Magnolia lobneri Willowwood, and that is a really sweet white flower. And this big one is straight Magnolia stellata, the star magnolia. This has always been a really reliable plant. I have this in my garden at home. And then this beautiful more white variety next to it. Come along here. It is nice when there are lower branches so you can actually get up close and personal. This is a variety called Ballerina. Of course, it's so cheerful to see all the daffodils in bloom. They really do have a great collection of daffodils here. And you can see more magnolia. There is a big quince over there. I bet that is Orange Storm. Let's go in for a close-up view. Flowering quince is always such a spectacular plant. And recent new introductions are really, like, look at how big these flowers are. This is out of Dr. Tom Rainey's breeding program at the Mountain Research Crop Station, part of NC State. And this is indeed Orange Storm, and this is sold through the Proven Winners line. And it really is a game changer. I think there's 3 or 4 varieties in the Storm flowering quince line, and I'd highly recommend growing them. I can't believe who I ran into today at the Arboretum. My favorite people in the whole world. Okay, tell everybody who you are.
Hey, I'm Matt at Mr. Maple.
I'm Tim at Mr. Maple.
And I'm Brian at Mr. Maple.
We are the Mr. Maple Plant Geeks, and we should have known on such a beautiful day it would bring all the gardeners out in the garden. We kind of joked on the way here that we should call Bree and like schedule something, and it just worked out. Like we're sitting there talking to Mark, and here comes Bree. We're like, hey, what are you doing here? Well, we should have known on like the first day that's 76 degrees that everybody's going to be in the garden, because it was a great day to be here.
We're out shooting for the Mr. Maple show. Bree's out shooting for Bree, and it's amazing. And we've got Brian here. This is his first trip to the JCRA, and he was a collector turned Mr. Maple guy.
Right. We converted him to the other side.
That's right. And what a beautiful place to explore. I mean, check out this beehive behind us here. What an amazing plant. I mean, there's so many specimens around here. Very impressive.
Hey, definitely more to come. We'll definitely be shooting some more with Bree. We plan on getting down here some and in leaf and just talking about all kinds of fun plants.
And for everybody, you need to go to mrmaple.com because you're gonna freak out when you see all the things they have. I know I have bought a number of things, including like witch hazels, and well, I got a good amount of stuff from y'all.
We've been plant friends for forever, so yeah.
You know,
it's been a minute. Like she said it just a second ago off camera, but she was at my wedding, so like we've known you for a minute. So
and baby number 3,
yeah,
arriving in like 2 weeks.
We couldn't hit Ralston Bloom, so we wanted to bring some things down. I said we can't go late March. We got to go early March. I'm sticking around town late March, so baby number 3 will be here. So
congratulations!
Thanks.
Well, this has made my day. I'm so happy I got to see you guys live and in person on the first day that really feels like spring. I have finally found Cornus moss. I only have Cornus moss at home. I don't have officinalis. And you see the flowers are very similar, but the bark is totally different. So you see it's not as exfoliating. And this is a cultivar that I am not familiar with, Saffron Sentinel. But it's just a really terrific dogwood. So if you've never grown these yellow flowering dogwoods, check out Cornus officinalis and Cornus moss. And one of my all-time favorite plants is in bloom. This is the Asian sassafras, Sassafras zumu. And look at these incredible yellow flowers. I'll try and get some better pictures. Probably have to go to a different side. I do have one of these growing at my garden, and way back when I was working in nursery production, I did get these to root from cuttings, and it was one of those moments where people were so impressed it really put me on the map as a propagator. I just adore this plant. This is the Asian sassafras, as I said, or the Chinese sassafras, and you see lots of pollinator activity on these beautiful yellow blooms. Well, every time I visit the Ralston Arboretum, it's always a special experience, but today was really extra. Being able to see Matt and Tim, who I haven't seen very much during the last few years. You should definitely check out mrmaple.com. They have awesome plants for sale, and they're retail mail order, so you can live anywhere and shop from them. And I hope that you have enjoyed today's tour, where I was able to feature a lot of late winter, very early spring blooming trees and shrubs here at the wonderful J.C. Ralston Arboretum. Thanks so much for watching, everybody.